right, today we're looking at blues stuff in G. And so I want to start where a lot of this starts with Muleskinner Blues. Okay, so the kickoff, on the guitar, you're still doing, it's just like, it's that and many variations on the mandolin, something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He had to put that 5 in there because it's a little bit like, I would normally do maybe 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But he did 5 a lot of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we got to get all that because that's where the genesis of all of this bluegrass music comes from in a way. So just out of the 3-finger chop chord there, and coming up with a little finger to grab the 6 and 7, back to the 3rd fret. Skip. A lot of times you play the 1st fret as a blues note, but skipping that, coming down from the 1st interval to the 5th interval, which also happens to be the 5th fret of the A. Then the C note, 3rd fret of the A, then sliding from 1 to 2, which is the key to the blues, mandolin, and bluegrass, and then down to the 5th fret of the D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so you're sliding the first time. This is all downstrokes. And then the next time you're going to come back and individually articulate these 2 notes in a discrete way. All right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then another 5th fret of the D note, open D. Then 3rd fret of the D, hammer on from 2 to 3. Back to the 2nd fret. Then open D. Then open G. That's the Muleskinner lick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're getting into these real fast downstrokes. Okay, so we got this. So now we also need to know how to do that in the lower octave. Alright, so 5, 3, slide from 1 to 2, slide down to the 5th fret of the D. Okay, that's the lick. And so you can do that same lick an octave lower, starting on the other D, the open D. 5th fret of the G, sliding from 3 to 4, then open G. Alright. A lot of times you're going to be getting with these kind of syncopated, jagged rhythms. Just sliding from 3 to 4 in G, and then 1 to 2 on the upper octave. Okay, so, and then you're always going to want to be aware that you can lead down to C through the 7th. You can walk it down that way. A lot of times with the blues, you'd be doing the shuffle. And you can walk up into the C chord, a little triplet. I like to do the little alternating bass. Coming up through the 7th there. And so all this stuff kind of scales up towards fast bluegrass. But you can play it as the blues and it gets a little bit funkier, in some ways, or ostensibly funky. Again, you're looking at the Muleskinner position. All right, it's just all that stuff all the time, backwards. Just play the shape backwards. You can grab that, the other 7th, the high 7th, on the 1st fret of the A. If you're in C, a lot of times that'll lead your ear towards the F. But Monroe was constantly playing with those major and minor thirds over the C and the G. He loved the sound of the major 7th. So if you're in C, to almost like provide the illusion that you're going back to G by playing the B note, the 2nd fret of the A, when you're still in C. So it creates that tonality. All right. too. So you're in D, but yet you're honking the G double stop before the band comes back to that G. So you can do it a couple times in a row. You can do it all the time. It's something to play with. So when you're in G, what would that mean in G? So you'd likely be playing the F sharp note. Anticipating that next harmonic situation before the band's there. So in a way, it's like, come on, catch up with me. I'm over here, and it's providing a lot of movement, laterally, or if not, kind of quantumly, in a mental sense, when you're trying to, figure out where you are and where your, relationship is to the other musicians and the beat and the point of the whole thing. Monroe was so gracefully able to kind of straddle that line between familiarity and taking it out there, and maybe one reason that retrospectively it's as intelligible as it is because we're hearing a lot of it 50 years later. So it's possible that at the time it was just so far beyond anything comprehensible that it was literally, blowing people's minds. And so now, with the passage of time, we've been able to kind of crack the code a little bit and understand on a nuclear level, what his molecules were made of. For the most part, there's some quantum activity in there, which is beautiful. But anyway, we're getting back to the downstrokes in G. You just got to think about it like blues riffs. Kind of aware of a lyrical phrasing idea, because that's kind of what we're all trying to imitate, in a sense, the singing quality of the instruments, and to have lyrical phrasing along with that singing kind of quality can really keen our interest towards the the expressiveness, because we're always kind of in a way comparing everything to the expressive nature of the human voice. So when you can get that going with your humming, as you're playing the blues, that can be an effective creative tool. So let's just talk a little bit more about some patterns, pentatonic stuff. Monroe, he wasn't really a pattern player. He was more of a lyrical player. But you can put some of these in here now and then, for effect, the threes and fives in G, and the first fret on the A and E. This is a cool shape I learned from Compton just the other day. First, it's a C shape, and so you can play your first fret of the E, third fret of the A, and ring finger on the fifth fret of the D for a really cool sound in C. So if the road is rocky, it won't be rocky long. Oh, the road is rocky, but it won't be rocky long. That's nice. So I hit a little F major double stop before this C. Or you can get it here, but it's a different tonal. So when you start to add the upstroke to these downstrokes, you'll see rather quickly that you can play a lot of bluegrass if you just add the upstroke. So if in bluegrassville, we're like this. If you just add your upstroke, so when you think about eighth notes, as I call them, that's your blues kind of shuffle. And if you just add the upstroke to all that, aware of, coming up through the arpeggio. Just being able to rip that up. Pulling down from the top octave, 3rd fret of the A, and then the 8th fret of the E. And here's your little second position for C. To me, a tune that was really instructive, which is not in G, but the principles can apply all over the place, is Georgia Stomp. All that stuff out of the box. Just take it over to G. Double stops all day long, and then when you add the upstroke, then all of a sudden it becomes Granite Hill, nearabouts. You can get the connection I'm trying to make here. So, you can take all that in the box stuff and play it with downstrokes, but then add the upstrokes, sometimes when you're practicing it too. So you're playing the same note, you're just playing it twice. And sometimes you're sliding. That's where all the action is, right there in the middle. A, B. It's an important line to be able to see this line too, which is the 7th line, which turns into like a diminished situation, I guess. I don't really do that too much. Maybe I shouldn't do more. But anyway, when you're in G, the line of 7ths through the arpeggio, the regular arpeggios like this, of course, and we just add the 7th. And it creates this line through the chord. the next note up here. And so you take that to C. You can see that line that right there again. Where is it? Right there. It's the 7th line. We're in C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, flat 7. So you're just kind of attaching that idea to the arpeggio, and it creates this line that you can see, and it's in every chord. When you go to D, it's this line. You know, just the arpeggios and the 7ths. Sorry. It's a really great sound. It's a bluegrass sound that you can use a lot. And then when you're putting the 16th note in there, that's the 7th line. Adding the 4th in there. 5th fret of the G, but it's the 4th note in the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we have the arpeggio peppered with 7ths and 4ths. Sliding into the 3rd. Into C, you can do the same thing in C. All right, so I hope that gives you some good stuff to work on, and we'll see you next time.